In a world where living longer often means living sicker, How Not to Age by Dr. Michael Greger might offer you a new perspective on aging and longevity. Today, I share my review of this book and my top 6 takeaways. For context, let me tell you who I am and what I do. I'm a doctor of physical therapy with 10 years of clinical experience. I am board certified in lifestyle medicine with certifications in nutritional physical therapy and plant-based nutrition. The majority of my patients are adults over the age of 65. My work has taken me through a variety of settings: outpatient clinics, community rehab, hospitals, nursing homes, dementia units, assisted living facilities, and what I do now, home health physical therapy. So I've seen aging up close and personal in many different forms. There's something eye-opening about working with the elderly. You see people who are just surviving, Their lives are a routine of doctor's visits, taking a laundry list of medications, sometimes up to 37 pills a day. They spend most of their time in their recliners, watching TV, and needing help for basic movements like standing, walking, and going to the bathroom. Not to mention the psychological and emotional toll placed on their family members. For too many, this is what the last 20 to 30 years of their life looks like. Yet, there's another side to the story. I've also met a small number of patients who've cracked the code to aging well. Usually, they come to me for minor issues like a sprained ankle. They're active, quick to recover, and they just keep going. One advantage to spending time with older folks is that you are bound to get some life lessons and advice. And the advice that I hear over and over,
Grazelle, don't get old.
Since I hear it all the time, it must be very, very important. So this book, How Not to Age, is probably the answer to my patients' half-joking advice. Let's go through it together and find out, can we really avoid getting old? First of all, let me tell you that How Not to Age is not your quick guide. It's a pretty long, meticulous book with over 13,000 citations, supplemented by online materials and videos. The additional resources provide more clarity, especially for those who might find the detailed scientific explanations challenging. The hardcover book is over 600 pages long, and I've seen customer reviews on Amazon saying that the print is too small for them to read. But just a couple of weeks ago, Dr. Greger released a larger print version of the book, so you might want to get that instead. I bought the Kindle version, which I think is the more convenient choice. I can easily click the links and access the references with less friction. And I love going through scientific citations and reading them myself. I also have the audiobook, which takes about 28 hours to listen at normal speed. You can absolutely try to bump it to speed 1.1 or 1.2 if you want to save a couple hours. Although I find that difficult to do because if you've heard Dr. Greger speak or seen his YouTube videos, he tends to vary his tone and speaking speed a lot. The book uses so many technical and medical terms that it may be hard to catch with his puns and dry humor and unique narration style. How Not to Age is structured into 4 parts. Part 1 is about slowing the pathways of aging. Here, Dr. Greger delves into the 11 essential biological processes that contribute to aging, such as inflammation, telomere shortening, and glycation. This section may be intimidating for those who don't have a strong background in biology or medicine, but I think it's still worth the read for everyone. He provides a detailed look at each process, explaining how it causes aging and what can we do, especially through diet, to slow down these processes. Part 2 describes the lifestyle habits of the longest-lived people in the blue zone regions, who are known for their exceptional longevity. I mean, if you want to live a life that is long, healthy, and of good quality, you gotta learn from people who've actually done it, right? Dr. Greger highlights their predominantly plant-based diets, physical activity, sleep patterns, and stress management techniques, painting a holistic picture of healthful living. Part 3 covers strategies for maintaining key body functions. It includes in-depth discussions on how to preserve our vision, hearing, bones, teeth, hair, skin, joints, muscles, sex life, among others. I was particularly interested in the section on how to preserve our minds. With my experience of seeing patients in memory care centers, I think the scariest thing about getting old would be losing my memories and losing myself. Part 4 is Dr. Greger's anti-aging checklist. The final part provides a list of specific foods, supplements, and lifestyle habits that can help slow the aging process. It's a guide to implementing the book's insights into everyday life. He has numerous helpful tips scattered all over the book, but they're so buried into the long paragraphs. They're not formatted in a way that it can stand out from the rest of the text. So it does require careful reading to extract those actionable tips and maybe just make a list of your own based on what applies to you. So what did I learn from How Not to Age? Here are my 6 takeaways. Takeaway number 1, genes load the gun, lifestyle pulls the trigger. Dr. Greger discusses epigenetics, which literally means above genetics. It is the science that tells us that some of our genes can be switched on or off. It's like playing the piano. Imagine your DNA as the piano itself, each key representing a different gene. Our lifestyle choices, what we eat, how much we exercise, even our stress levels are like the hands of a pianist, deciding which keys to press and which melodies to play. In my work, I often see patients, many of whom believe their health conditions are solely dictated by their genetics. But understanding epigenetics opened me up to a world of possibilities, because it means that even later in life, our choices can still influence our health. Whether it's through diet, exercise, or stress management, we have the power to turn certain genes on or off. In my own life, I've seen this play out in my family's history of high cholesterol. Despite this genetic predisposition, I managed to lower my cholesterol levels naturally with a plant-forward diet. This demonstrates that our DNA is not our destiny, and with the right lifestyle choices, we can influence our genetic expression for better health outcomes. The book details crucial distinction between chronological age and biological age. Chronological age is the number of years we lived. Biological age is how old your cells and tissues actually are. It's about the condition of our bodies and how well they're functioning. I hope you know by now that this book is not about chasing immortality or turning back the hands of time on your calendar. It's about slowing down our biological age, ensuring that the years we have are lived in better health. Dr. Greger shares one of the most fascinating findings from a study of centenarians. Some of them age so slowly that their biological age is decades younger than their chronological age. This begs the question, what can we do to slow down our epigenetic clocks? The research articles mentioned in the book point to several key factors: regular exercise, avoiding cigarette smoke, and a diet rich in fruits and vegetables can help decelerate aging. Conversely, factors like meat consumption, highly processed foods, and exposure to pollutants have been linked to accelerated aging. In practical terms, this means that our lifestyle choices, the foods we eat, our exercise habits, our exposure to pollutants can influence our biological age. This means that we aren't just passive bystanders in the aging process. We have the power to influence it. Takeaway number 2, value your health span as much as your lifespan. What's the point of living longer if you can't enjoy it vibrantly? Would you rather have a ton of years under your belt but spend most of them dealing with all sorts of health issues? This is what I see a lot every day at work. Lifespan is simply the measure of how long we live. Modern medicine has made great strides in expanding lifespan, but How Not to Age challenges us to look beyond this. Consider what those extra years will look like for you. Will they be years filled with vitality or years burdened by disease and declining health? Health span refers to the period of our lives spent in good health, free from chronic diseases and disabilities typically associated with aging. It's about maintaining vitality, mental clarity, physical mobility, and overall well-being for as long as possible. This is also one of the most important things I learned in physical therapy school. I was taught that as PTs, our purpose is not just to add years to our patients' lives, but also to help them add life to their years. Aim for a life where you're not just surviving, but thriving. Dr. Greger emphasizes this concept throughout his book. The goal is not merely to push the boundaries of how long we live, but more importantly, to enhance the quality of every year we have. Valuing our health span as much as our lifespan means rethinking our approach to aging. It means adopting a lifestyle that doesn't just fend off death, but also nurtures life in its fullest form. Takeaway 3, eat plant-based or plant-ish. What we eat is the number one determinant of our lifespan. Simple diet tweaks like reducing salt intake, limiting highly processed junk foods or swapping unhealthy protein sources with healthier options like nuts or whole grains can add years to our lives. How Not to Age mentions the Adventist Blue Zone community in California who are renowned for their extraordinary longevity. The key to their success? A plant-based diet. Vegetarian Adventists outlive their non-vegetarian counterparts. They consume minimal meat and highly processed foods. They have fewer instances of heart disease, cancer, high blood pressure, and diabetes. Vegetarians often require fewer medications, undergo fewer surgical procedures, and have shorter hospital stays. They also enjoy a higher quality of life and incur lower medical costs. Incorporating plant foods into our diet can be as simple as choosing lentils over meat in our meals or snacking on nuts instead of cheese. I'm not entirely new to this plant-forward lifestyle anymore. I was diagnosed with a metastatic thyroid cancer that spread to my lungs and lymph nodes when I was 18. 12 years later, I found plant-based nutrition. After changing my diet sustainably for 1 year, my doctors and I were surprised to find out that my cancer was put into remission. I made a video about my story, and if you want to learn more, the link should be over here. The bottom line, embracing a plant-based diet, even partially, can lead to a longer, healthier life, reducing the risk of various diseases and enhancing overall well-being. It's not just about completely eliminating animal products and junk foods overnight. It doesn't have to be all or nothing either, but about making gradual shifts towards more whole plant-based foods for a healthier, longer life. Takeaway 4. Plants, not pills. What if there's a pill that could magically make us live longer? Almost everywhere in the world, someone is trying to sell us the latest pill, powder, or potion as the secret to eternal youth. How Not to Age asks us to pause and think critically. Supplements, they're everywhere. But here's the deal. Supplements just can't replicate the complex mix of benefits we get from whole plant-based foods. Given the lack of oversight of the supplement industry, there is no guarantee that producers have gathered evidence of a product's effectiveness, or even that's what's listed on the supplement's label is contained in the product. Now, don't get me wrong, in certain cases, there are supplements that do work and can be beneficial, especially when they fill specific nutritional gaps. I personally supplement with vitamin B12, as all people who follow a plant-based lifestyle should do. My doctor also instructed me to take calcium and vitamin D because my parathyroids were taken out when I had surgery for my cancer. But the idea that we can just pop a pill instead of eating a well-rounded diet, wouldn't that sound sketchy to you? I personally know of people in my life who fell for these scams. And then there are those anti-aging products, creams, serums, pills, all claiming to turn back the clock. Well, more often than not, many of these products offer a lot of hype with little benefit. In fact, in some cases, they can even be harmful. The book's message is clear. We have to look beyond the seductive simplicity of quick fixes. The real key to longevity is in making holistic life choices. It's about adopting a diet rich in fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and legumes. It's about staying active, managing stress, getting enough sleep, and maintaining social connections. It's about embracing a lifestyle that is grounded in science and common sense, not swayed by the latest fads or marketing gimmicks. Takeaway 5, use it or lose it. In the book, I was fascinated about microlives, which is something I've never heard of before. In research, the term microlife is defined as 30 minutes of your life expectancy. To put it in perspective, if you're in your 20s, you might have about 20,000 days or 1 million half hours or micro lives left. This concept allows us to measure how our daily habits and choices like diet, exercise, and even vices like smoking and drinking alcohol can add or subtract valuable time from our lives. Exercise and regular physical activity are life extenders. For those who often say they don't have the time to work out, here's something to consider. Engaging in exercise can actually add micro lives to your life. It's like making a time investment with a fantastic return. For example, just 20 minutes of exercise can potentially add an hour to your life. That's gaining 2 micro lives for every one you spend working out. So what can you do? If you're sedentary, maybe add a brisk 20-minute walk into your daily routine. This is not just good for your current health, but it's also an investment in your future, adding valuable time to your lifespan. This is something I will definitely definitely use next time I educate a patient in doing their home exercise program. Speaking of my patients, sarcopenia, the medical term for age-related muscle loss, is one of the most common diagnoses I see in my clinical practice. It's linked not just to increased fall risk, but also to reduced life expectancy. It's not just about the quantity of muscle, but also the quality too, affecting our strength profoundly. Can we counter this? Absolutely. Studies show that age-related muscle loss can be minimal or even reversed with strength training. One study mentioned in the book highlighted older adults who, after a 24-week strength training program, saw a 10% increase in leg muscle mass and a 40% boost in their strength. Even more, their functional abilities, like standing up from a sitting position, improved significantly. This isn't just about hitting the gym, it's about maintaining independence and vitality. Reduced activity can worsen muscle loss rapidly, especially in older adults. Dr. Greger cited one study where elderly individuals lost 4% leg muscle mass in just 2 weeks by reducing their daily steps. Regular resistance exercise is crucial. It's the most effective strategy to prevent and treat muscle loss, enhancing physical function and potentially reversing frailty. To illustrate, incorporating simple strength exercises like squats or arm lifts with light weights at home could significantly counteract muscle loss, preserving our strength and independence as we age. Takeaway 6. Common sense health behaviors. Did you know that just a few basic lifestyle behaviors can lead to a dramatically longer life? The book mentions this Harvard research that reveals that simple, common sense health behaviors could extend life expectancy by about 13 years for a 50-year-old. Even from age 70, an additional decade of life is still possible. This isn't about complex medical interventions. It's about everyday choices. Eating well, staying active, maintaining a healthy weight, avoiding alcohol, and smoking have profound impacts. For instance, just by walking 20 minutes a day, eating at least 5 servings of fruit and vegetables daily, and keeping a healthy weight, people in middle age saw a 40% reduction in mortality risk over the next 4 years. In essence, the most effective anti-aging pill might just be found in our lifestyle choices: regular exercise, a plant-rich diet, and avoiding harmful habits. It's a simple formula, but one that holds the key to longer, healthier life.
Grazelle, don't get old.
I'm gonna hear that again from another patient for sure. Try asking me next week. Maybe it's just one of those things that old folks like to say, but after diving into Dr. Michael Greger's How Not to Age and reflecting on my years of helping people as a physical therapist, I've started to see it in a whole new light. It's like, we all know we can't literally stop getting older. That's just part of being human. But what if we could change the way we age? What if don't get old actually means don't let age slow you down? We might not be able to turn back the clock, but we can definitely wind it up so it ticks a little better. I've seen the difference firsthand. Some of my patients really seem to have cracked the code. They're not just getting by, they're thriving, living their golden years with a zest that's honestly inspiring. And guess what? Their secret isn't some fancy medical breakthrough. And I've also seen patients change and turn their life around at age 70. It's about the simple things: eating right, staying active, and making those smart, healthy choices every day. As someone who is in the business of helping people stay mobile and healthy, How Not to Age made me even more committed to showing my patients, and heck, even myself, that getting older doesn't have to mean slowing down. So here's to taking that advice, don't get old, and turning it on its head. Let's make it about living our best life at any age, staying active, laughing a lot, and maybe even enjoying a few extra healthier years on this planet. Sounds like a plan, doesn't it?